Wait a minute. You mean we can't keep it under that?
Challenge, Katie.
Challenge accepted. Well, happy Friday, Skylar and Greg. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. It's a nice sunny day here.
It is up here too.
Yeah, gearing up for a good weekend.
President's Day, so we have 3-day
Oh,
weekend coming up. So
Yeah, we
well,
got all kinds of friends of our kids here, there, and everywhere. So
I feel that.
be a
Well, good.
bit busy weekend.
Yeah, it's always busy weekend, especially when it's cold. You're always stuck inside, so it always feels busier.
Hmm.
But good. Well, all right. So, what do we guys want to talk about today? I know we've been doing some stuff with some annuities. Do you want to talk about that?
yeah, so variable annuities have been a popular investment vehicle over the years. They sort of combine an insurance aspect to an investment portfolio, and they also offer tax deferral for folks. Sort of the investment side is what they have is closely resembling mutual funds, where there is a sub-advisor and what they call sub-accounts that are held inside of this insurance contract. And so the investments grow over time. And the insurance aspect is that there can be living benefits or death benefit riders that are on the contracts, which would give you a guaranteed amount of income based on a certain calculation or a guaranteed minimum death benefit, to where if the investments do not perform well, the guarantees of the living benefits rider or the death benefits rider will provide some minimums in down markets, which these have worked out pretty well for a number of years. And those that are using living benefits riders and death benefits riders, it can be a good deal. Though if you're using these variable annuities for a tax deferral strategy because you can't contribute to an IRA or a 401k, you have the ability to avoid paying taxes on all of the dividends, interest, and capital gains throughout the growth of the policy, which could help it work out well for you. So in these contracts originally were commission based, and the sub-account fees tend to be a little bit higher than mutual funds or now lower cost ETFs. And there's also what they call as a mortality and expense charge that they have, which tend to be high. So we've been working on a couple of different cases now where the underlying fees are something like 3.5%. So in order for the investments in those contracts to perform well, they have to, to get a 0% return, you got to get 3.5%. That's kind of your hurdle rate. So there's been sort of an evolution in this, and there are now available newer contracts that do not have such high M&E fees and lower sub-account fees. So this is an opportunity for a lot of folks who may have a variable annuity that they've had for years. They don't plan on using the living benefits riders or the death benefit riders, or they don't have them at all. They could, the case we're working on right now, we're lowering by 0.7% or 70 bips, 70 basis points. And just based on the size of this is going to be like a $22,000 a year savings for the client, just by moving it from one annuity to the other. And there's a good reason why we have to move it from one annuity to the other. Greg, talk to us about non-qualified annuities and taxation.
Yeah, so if we eliminate the existing annuity and sell it, surrender the policy, then you're going to pay gain on or taxation on whatever that gain is. So a way to exchange, you're going to what's called 1035 into the new contract. So basically you're just shifting the money from the existing annuity to the new annuity with no taxable event. So that helps. And on the non-qualified side, you have taxation on that gain, And that gain, and Skylar, correct me if I'm wrong, is last in, first out, LIFO. So you're going to pay taxes on the very, 100% of whatever comes out of that annuity.
Right.
So,
And and that's ordinary income. So capital gains typically have uh, a more favorable tax rate than ordinary income. But if you invested 15 years ago, $600,000 and it's grown to $1.7 million, you now have $1.1 million, where if you just got rid of that contract to save the fees, uh, now you have a big tax problem as opposed to a fee problem, which is ultimately unfavorable. So that 1035 exchange is a great opportunity to sort of save on the fees. And that's if you want to stay on the variable side of things. There are fixed annuities that are available as well, which can provide a guaranteed rate of return, which the current interest rate environment is fairly favorable as well. So you could lock in, 5% plus return.
Yeah, it seems like this might be a good option, or I should say it might not be a good option if somebody's already taking income from the contract, which that struck me when you talk about a contract value going from 600 to 1.7 million, something like that. You're typically not going to see that if you're already taking distributions from it. But annuities also have a lot of special features called riders that you can add too, which sometimes might make the existing contract more lucrative. Is that right?
Yeah, so like we were talking about the living benefits rider, and so I'll give you an example of that. You could, at the inception of the contract, set up a living benefits rider, which, as an example, would give you a guaranteed rate of return of 5%. And then when you start to take withdrawals, you can take a guaranteed 5% from what they call as a benefit base. So this is something that a lot of people get mixed up on, is that you have your contract value and that's what's invested. That's your investment portfolio. But then you also have what they call as a benefit base, which grows separately from that. And then sometimes they can switch off if the investment performance is better than the what the living benefits rider guaranteed amount is, then you can reset.
Right.
But essentially, you have two pools of money inside the contract. One of them is what your actual investment performance is, and the other one is what the guarantees are. Well, ultimately, I think the investment markets over time are going to do better, but it makes it harder to do better when you have the 3.5% fee, and you also have sort of like investment restrictions for how much risk that you can take inside of the portfolio as well. So it's basically a way to have your you have your investment portfolio, and then you have the benefit base. And sometimes if the benefit base is a lot higher than what the investment portfolio is, you might not want to walk away from that. You probably don't. However, a lot of people get these mixed up and they say, well, I got this guaranteed level of return. They got the guaranteed level of return on the benefit base, not their actual asset values.
Right.
And so they get caught up on, hey, I'm getting more and more return the longer that I wait to take this money. But that's on your benefit base. And the only way to really realize the benefit base is when you start taking income from the policy. And also it helps if you live a long time as well.
Right.
So it's not the actual account value or the contract value. It's not your money. It's the benefit base that's growing. If you don't take it, it's just monopoly money.
well, and one of the key pieces is we need to look at the annuity and take action, most likely. So it's either reduce fees via a 1035 exchange, or look at the existing riders and do we take advantage and start using those riders that you've been paying for since you purchased the contract, which Skylar and I had a client that we basically say you either need to 1035, forgo the difference between the account value and the benefit base to reduce fees, or let's turn on the income and utilize this insurance benefit that the annuity company provided that you've been paying for 10 years.
Well, and that's what an annuity is anyway, is a stream of payments.
Right.
And so the whole point of these is that they're deferred annuities that allow you to accumulate assets and then eventually have a stream of payments. If you don't want to use the stream of payments, then that's kind of misses the point of the annuity, trying to get a guaranteed rate of return on a benefit base that you never use.
Right.
Definitely some unique opportunities for clients that, non-qualified, large size annuities, not really utilizing the riders, might not need them, and high account values. So definitely something to think about. Talk to your advisor, talk to us, talk to your accountant, see how it goes. And until then, have a good weekend and stay busy and warm. It's supposed to snow tonight.
Yes.
Great.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.